I've had to do this like 4 more times recently, and I've never been able to replicate it.
Hmm.
But basically, in a matter of speaking, they basically took some of the construction of one of the field stages and some of the construction of, I think, Yukimura's stage, slapped them together, and here you are.
You know, I don't mind this in concept because when you think about it, it's essentially just like Bloody Palace and Devil May Cry.
The problem is that the area is far too wide. If it was just infinitely spawning soldiers in a certain area, that would be whatever, but there's too many points of entry. It goes on forever. This lasts like 15 minutes.
How many do you have to KO a certain amount of enemies, or what do you have to do here? Just survive a certain time limit?
I think it is literally just a timer.
Grand.
Because I've never had a fast run of this stage. While there's literally nothing happening, I think I'll take this opportunity to actually talk about Yoshitsugu, Mitsunari's assistant advisor.
Yeah.
So his deal, in addition to in this game being magic, is that he is the only person. Mitsunari is the only person that ever treated him well in life, and so he's dedicated to him no matter how self-destructive Mitsunari gets. And there's a reason for that, and that, even during Hideyoshi's time, is because Yoshitsugu was suffering from leprosy. So he was always
all the
bandaged up.
yeah.
Yeah, he was bandaged up. He was always looking like a mummy. The other unit, everyone else in his army, I think it's starting, thought he was scary or knew that he was sickly, thought he was contagious, so they mocked him relentlessly. They refused to go near him. The closest that anyone would ever get to him sometimes would be the length of a sword.
Yeah.
So he was an outcast pretty much his entire life, and the only person that ever stuck up for him, yep, there it goes, it's starting, is Mitsunari. Mitsunari treated him as an equal, as though he were still human, or as though he were human, which is a kindness no one else ever afforded him. There it goes.
Oh boy.
So he makes it a point of defending Mitsunari at every opportunity and going along with all of his plans for good or for ill. And I actually like that because you don't get that. There are a few, but you don't get relationships that quite dedicated to each other in this series all that often.
Yeah, like the only other one that really does come close is like Kojiro and Masamune, but that's more so in the anime itself rather than like the games. So weird.
We'll get an instance of that it blindsides you when it does that. You'll get an instance of Kojiro actually being a proper advisor and being a very good character during one of Masamune's routes, but as far as the games go, yes, those two are also few and far between. To finally talk about this, I have literally no idea what the fuck happened, but the frame rate for this stage and this stage alone just decided to shit itself.
I have a couple theories on what might be causing this. One theory is that maybe you're getting too far ahead of the intended flags for like spawning certain enemies in. So there's more enemies that are on screen in like the background than it should be, so it's tanking the frame, which MT Framework Lite, good fucking luck with that, because Devil May Cry 4 literally had a PC port called the Special Edition that just straight up introduced a game mode that just flooded the screen with enemies to push its limits. Impressive.
Legendary Dark Knight mode. Load the game with as many enemies as possible to drag it down to 60 FPS.
Yeah, to actually push the engine a little bit. There's that. Maybe there's like just general like rendering issues with like getting so like maybe you're moving so fast and like it's causing so many enemies to spawn that it's doing that. I'm noticing that like the frame rate does kind of reset. It did reset a little bit on those hills, like when you weren't facing any enemies. So maybe that's what it's just like. There's too many enemies to load on screen at once at the same time that it's causing this. I have no idea.
But it also goes back to normal. when a cutscene triggers, when you enter hero timer, when you do a Basara attack. So, yeah, I have literally no idea, because this is something I've never seen before in 9 years of playing this game.
Yeah,
or any of the
literally,
other games in the series.
That, or maybe it's just your PS3 disc reader being a bitch. I don't know.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. The thing has always been a bitch.
Yeah. Oh boy, aging PS3 disc readers. Those things are fun to mess with.
Remember, the Blu-ray reader wasn't even good when it was new.
No.
And the Blu-ray reader in the PS3. Ooh.
I told you this before. I don't think I've ever. I may have told my audience once or twice, but it bears repeating. I once had my PS3's regular slim disc reader just full on die on me, and what I mean by that is like the rotors themselves. And it wasn't from anything strenuous. I was just watching some dumb ecchi anime with one of my friends, Josh, back in college, and it just kind of just died. I'm like, I can't get the disc out. What the fuck?
Yeah, something like that happened to me. The game that killed my first PS3's disc reader was Storm 3.
Oh man, what a way to go out. At least yours went on a blaze of glory, as opposed to mine, which is having problems just rendering anime titties.
So in my case, it was that the Blu-ray laser died, but the DVD laser functioned just fine. So I couldn't watch any of my Blu-rays, but I could watch a DVD just fine. And so what that meant was that I was stuck playing download-only games for like 9 months before I could finally afford to buy another PS3. And I've had that that new PS3 ever since, and it's the jet engine you're also familiar with at this point, but it's served me well ever since.
Got me on that one. I mean, I once looked into actually replacing like the disc reader, the actual like Blu-ray laser disc on my slim PS3, thinking that was the cause, but eventually, well, first of all, I'm a bitch when it comes to trying to take a lot apart electronics. I'm afraid I'm gonna break something. It sounds bad for me trying to replace the faceplate on my old PSP 1000 and accidentally putting too much pressure on one screw, so it cracked the screen. Yeah, fun times.
Ooh. Yeah, I feel ya.
Yeah. It was also the 1000 though, so it's like I was a little bent out of shape about it because it was like a stupid tribal dragon like faceplate that looked kind of cool, but this was also circa like late 2000s, so that stuff was kind of in vogue still.
The tribal tattoo Game Boy Advance SP.
Yeah, right. The cursed one with Mario's render having a fucking tribal tattoo on his arm, which I can only assume is canon. Though underneath that plumber getup, he still has on his arm somewhere.
What are you doing? Why are you so slow?
It'll activate someday, and a dragon will fly out of his body.
And everyone will be confused, but all of the old millennials will understand fully what happened.
PSP had some pretty cool limited editions, though. The ones that have, like, Darth Vader's face on the back, or...
Literally, that was the first one that came to mind, too.
Or Chaos and Cosmos, one with Kratos. The pink Hannah Montana one.
Yeah. I once told you that I had a friend who had a PSP Go, right? Or, not a friend, like, I knew someone who had a PSP Go. And they were defending it. And I was like, wow, you're a fucking idiot, dude.
Well, in hindsight, it's the coolest one, but at the time, no, it was the worst one.
I mean, sure, to us, it's kind of cool. But... yeah, no UMD disc reader kind of fucking blows.
Yeah, but in retrospect, the functionality that you could actually attach it to a TV through HDMI and actually connect a DualShock 3 to it.
Could you do both of those, seriously?
Yeah, it had an actual dock that I think might have had a HDMI 480p, which is the signal that HDMI can accept. You could connect DualShock 3 to it, So yeah, if you wanted to record PSP games on native hardware, you would have had to hack it, of course, to get the whole library, but that seems like the most optimal way to do it on native hardware.
So it seems. Huh. Actually, no, genuinely, I did not know that. I don't think it was ever advertised at the time. If it was advertised, you could hook up a PS3 controller, that actually would have been a cool mark in its favor.
The PSP Go, for those that knew about it, was the original Nintendo Switch.
In a weird sort of way, you can argue that, yeah.
I mean, technically, it already was, in a matter of speaking, because the 2000 and 3000 already had the component cables.
Yeah. Even if it showed the signal on like a, oh god, component cable signal in like a crunch letterbox format, it still was kind of cool.
No, it was window boxed.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It like just.
Ooh. 480 by 272, baby.
It looked like one of those older YouTube videos you'd get when someone uploaded it in like widescreen, but they recorded the video itself in like standard, but it was like playing in like widescreen, so it's just like quadruple compressed. Hey, stage is over, and you got the fuck out of there.
I mean, I needed to make sure that that the game itself wasn't dying. Because I didn't pause it all, I didn't check any of the menus.
Yeah.
I tell you though, after looking at that mess for 15 minutes, looking at 60 FPS gameplay feels like 120.
Oh god, do I know that feeling? Holy shit.
What am I doing? I think I'm changing my attack.
Oh, right. Maybe I should. I've been meaning to ask this for a long time, actually. Well, more so for the audience, if you know what I mean. So, oh wow, you have that move? Holy shit! I didn't know you still had that move in this game. Huh. Reverence. I didn't think it was still here. I thought it was in 4 it got introduced.
Oh no, we're gonna be doing something special with that way later on.
Cool. So, the joke weapons. Would you care to elaborate on those? Because so far you've been swinging around a bouquet of flowers with Mitsunari for the last 2.5 hours. You want to elaborate on to the audience what's up with that?
So characters have various weapons from level 1 to level 6 with meaningless attack power numbers ranging from 200 to about 600 or 700. Your joke weapons are the very last weapons you unlock. They are level 7 weapons, and they range from 7 to 900 power. And they're all various, as the name implies, jokes. They're, for example, for Mitsunari, who's supposed to be a katana quick draw user, he's got this magic wand baton thing that has flowers coming out of it when he presses down on the handle. For Yukimura, who wields, dual spears, because his character is located in his fiery spirit, his joke weapons are giant matchsticks that actually light on fire as you use them.
Oh yeah, right.
There's a character whose weapon is basically a buster sword. His joke weapon is a giant shish kebab on a skewer.
Yeah.
Grilled pineapple, grilled meat, and grilled tomato on a skewer.
So what you're saying is base stats, the joke weapons are actually stronger than the character's like actual strongest weapon, or like functionally strongest weapons.
Yes, they have the highest base stat numbers. You can equip items and accessories to each weapon to alter their stats or functions, but most of the time you just want to go for higher attack. But yeah, they're each character's strongest weapons. Maguichi Saika, the guns blazing mercenary. Her joke weapon is a gun that's made entirely of chopsticks that instead of bullets just shoots out more chopsticks.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually kind of hilarious.
I'm trying to think of some more of them. They're not all coming to me offhand.
I feel like one of them has paddles or something.
Probably.
So I do find this absolutely hilarious, and as far as also because as an old Soul Calibur fan, that old-ish, I guess, older, that series also is known for having a crap ton of joke weapons. Sometimes a little more accessible than most because after 4, they were kind of locked behind the character creation screen, I guess, where you like save up character files that are equipped with the joke weapons, but some of the other ones you can easily access, like Soul Calibur 3, were fucking hilarious. Nightmare wielding a giant squid as a joke weapon. Siegfried having a giant paddle. Fuck, there's definitely like a good few others that are not going to come to mind offhand.
Oh, Masamune's in this game are 6 baseball bats.
Oh, that's great.
Some of the ones that come to mind in Basara 4, Sasuke wields 2 bowls of ramen in place of his shuriken.
Morale down. Well, I would certainly be a little morale lower too if I was fucking waterlogged.
No, it's a moat. We're draining the water from the moat so that way we can invade their castle.
Yep.
So yes, Sasuke wields 2 bowls of ramen in place of his shuriken.
One of them just said the water's too cold, we can't take it.
Probably. Toshie Maeda normally wields a spear. He gets a swordfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of Ieyasu's in this game is he switches from his gauntlets to a pair of drills.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You know what? I'm going to risk the internet connection for a second and actually Google some joke weapons for Soul Calibur because some of them are generally pretty fucking hilarious.
If you want to see most or any of these, you can actually find them in our extra gallery section of our run of Sengoku Basara Yukimura Legend.
Yeah. Nice plug. Okay, let's see. Cervantes had a shish kebab as well. Go figure. Damn, can't do shit. Someone had, wait, who would that be? Oh, I think that might have been Lizard Man. His shield just being like that one type of lizard who has like the extending neck thing. Got that protruding outward. That's kind of great.
So, you decided to take a little stroll outside the Western Territories.
No good images to just immediately reference.
Land filled with cowards.
I did see a giant Q-tip in here. That's also kind of great. Just like a rough example of the kind of funny, great shit you can have in that series.
Yeah, I can imagine that they have their fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Sasuke just appeared in the stage, and what we did was we just ignored him entirely and ran to the next phase. Because when Sasuke first appears, what he does is he summons 2 extra shadow clones, so you actually have to fight 3 bosses at once. If you ignore him, run to the next base, and trigger the flood, then you can actually make his other 2 shadow clones disappear.
Yeah, that's kind of great.
Yeah, there's some neat ways of dealing with obstacles in these games if you know what the conditions are. Do it, triggering all the floods and going in through the back.
Yeah.
Also enacts this the secret cutscene for this stage with Yukimura.
Yeah. Nice. Don't you like interrupt the fight between him and Masamune or something, or is that something else?
That occurs in another run. You are Masamune trying to cut through at the exact same time when Yukimura is having his first meeting with Mitsunari.
Huh.
So Masamune steps in and is like, "Hey, you bastard, I'm gonna kill you right here. Thanks for bringing him here, Yukimura. That's a great help. Now I don't have to go all the way to Osaka."
You know, I know it ultimately be redundant, but I was just thinking about it in the gameplay aspect, and honestly, Man, what I would actually give to see Dante make an actual cameo in this series. Or as like a playable character, as a guest character, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but that would imply making a whole new game.
Oh, yeah, no, and that takes work.
Plus, we'd also have to acknowledge Nero and Virgil. And, you know, their connections in English, at least.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to.
I think Virgil could do it because Dan Southworth is not in the dubs for Basara, as far as I'm aware.
No dice. I think the only thing he's done for Capcom is just Devil May Cry. I think I actually would have hated Mitsunari if he was played by Dan.
Fair. Also, that would be way too fucking obvious. Although, Masamune, yeah, fair. So, funny enough, you said a thing about Dan Southworth for Capcom, but you wouldn't think so, because the man's mostly, I think, just a stunt double for like a lot of things, but the dude has actually appeared in another video game, and I didn't expect this, but you want to take a guess what it is?
That was it, Beautiful Joe?
Nope. It was that Power Rangers fighting game that came out a couple years ago.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember what Ranger he was, but the Ranger he was, he just redoes the role as a DLC character, and yeah, there's more than a couple references of saying lines of Virgil, and admittedly, I do find it to be kind of cute.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's pretty much entirely a mocap actor. Otherwise,
yeah. Props to him though. The dude's fucking ripped, so I can't blame him.
So what happened here is we actually snuck up behind Yukimura and scared the hell out of him, and he fell and he screamed, and that was funny because Johnny.
Plus Johnny.
Also, we're just sort of we're also technically sort of working out the deal of the alliance right here.
I guess maybe it's worth mentioning, but yes, when you do Mitsunari's Basara, there is a purple moon that does actually pop up in the sky, and I did not realize that until Brandon was previewing some gameplay for me. I'm like, oh wait, there's a moon up there, holy shit! And I think that's a really neat touch of detail.
Which is really funny during the day, or when you're in any of the stages that are indoors.
Yeah, it's like, huh, there's a weird protection up there. I don't know.
But yeah, that was a detail I hadn't noticed either until you said so. There were a few background details actually that I only just discovered during my recording of this game.
It's amazing what you can pick up when you're actually just doing a recording and your mind is shifted away from just straight gameplay and more just talking about it. Believe me, I know what that feeling is in detail.
Yeah. Alright, so where are we headed next? Yeah, like I said, these are fun sometimes.
Yep.
It is exactly as I said it would be. Who knows how many fools are taking matters into their own hands? If the Western Territories
yeah, Yoshitsugu, it's almost like there's the fucking power vacuum.
If I leave things as they are, my oceans will be a mess. I cannot rely on the east nor the west.
To be fair, I kind of agree with her on that one. Yeah, no one's coming to... Environmentalism did not exist.
Oracle. Very well then, Oracle. Use your talents.
So the idea is in Mitsunari's head, it's like, okay, things are kind of spiraling. I know, I can force this girl that can see the future to tell me what I need to do in order to win. Anyway, bye.
Honestly, couldn't care less about the Oracle.
Like I said, you're given the opportunity to not fuck up, but it's way more interesting if you do fuck up at every opportunity.
Yeah. So there's obvious indicators when you're selecting missions about like what the correct path would be, I guess. Well, I guess
Yeah.
you know about the red and blue path function. Like, I guess that's the moot point when you think about it.
The least self-destructive route.
Yeah.
Even if there wasn't a correct choice in this instance, I still would have picked this stage because this stage is another one of my favorites in the game, and not just because of the legendary quote.
Yeah.
I like this stage's gimmick, actual overall gimmick as well. Although the tigers are kind of annoying.
I like that dude's design, though.
Because you can't stagger the tigers. And
Ouch. Yeah, they're just not taking hits done whatsoever. Huh, that's fun.
I mean, they're not very smart or very fast, but they still hurt a lot. Like, I think I only took like one attack and it did like a fifth of my health.
I think you took like 2 or 3 attacks, but still, that's not insignificant. By the way, is this attack unblockable?
They can block, but I think it qualifies as a parry. So if they don't parry, then yeah, it still goes through.
Huh, cool.
And this the boss of this stage, another one of the regional lords, is another one of my favorite characters in the game because he's an idiot and he doesn't shut the fuck up, and it's hilarious. He thinks he's Bruce Lee. Or no, rather, he thinks he's Jackie Chan.
Second, we can disorient them.
But
I love this
yeah,
dude's voice. Holy shit.
You might recognize it, actually.
This level?
His voice.
Oh. Is it Dan Hibiki?
Oh, there it is. No. He
Yep.
said the thing.
He said the thing.
The man said the thing. I've been using that quote on and off for like 9 years.
Yep.
The voice of the boss of this stage is the voice of Yang and Yoon from the original release of Street Fighter 4 before in the very first re-release was replaced by Johnny and Todd. And in Marvel 3 and Infinite, I don't remember if he was in both, but if he was at least in one of them, he was the voice of Mega Man X.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, mostly does work for Capcom's primary studio. The other stages... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I still find it very funny whenever I think about Mega Man X in Infinite. Because honestly, whenever I think about him, I just think of more Johnny. Is that what you just say?
Johnny is Zero.
I know Johnny's Zero, but I just think I just imagine them both as Johnny. Dumb?
That's
yes.
fair.
Fitting? Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Johnny got his rectification in Smash.
I knew something was wrong when I heard you explode with rage.
Who the heck?
Zero's an assist trophy
Oh, yeah. I know she was
in
playable.
Ultimate.
But I guess fighting in players have dealt with him enough with the Zero loops, lightning loops in Ultimate Marvel, so fair enough. Let me tell you, he's a menace in that fucking game.
I can believe it.
If you have the execution for it, you can literally zero to death a lot of people once you get them in the corner. It's great.
These games are not well coded. So this is another one of my favorite stages in the game because I really love the gimmick of the fog, and if the map wasn't there, not knowing where you were going, actually being lost, and not being able to see how much of a crowd is in front of you. And thanks to the fog, also again, never knowing if you're on the verge of losing your other bases. You need to have control of all 5 at once in order to clear the fog, and after it's cleared, even if you lose a base, the fog returns again. So again, it's another risk-reward time management stage that I really appreciate the gimmick of.
Backpedaling for a second. What game were you talking about was not coded well?
3, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I can tell you part of the reason for that is because there was never a balance patch released after it launched. So Virgil just saved the best.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I was talking about.
Yeah.
As well in relation with the DLC controversy in relation to Mortal Kombat 9.
Oh, yeah. It's not the worst thing in the world, though. If nothing else, even if it's got some busted things, it's still incredibly fucking fun. It's just, man, I wish they actually did release a balance patch or something. But people found a way.
That doesn't surprise me. It's still even now, excuse me, in Capcom's blood to, oh, there's a problem, or any one thing we can add to a game, just print a whole new game disc for $40.
If there's enough DLC out for it and they release a new standalone package, I will not be too mad about. Hell, even now, I'm kind of hoping for something like that for DBFZ. I mean, actually, they kind of... Arxis did that in the past for fucking Guilty Gear with Exard.
Exard was its own... Revelator and Rev 2 were their own standalone discs. But
that's why I know.
Yeah. Rev 2 could also be patched onto Revelator. Yeah, I guess having an extend or Rev 2 or something for fighters would be nice. And again, it seems like they're phasing out that sort of model. Because why would you bother releasing a sequel game that has the, like, 65 total characters already on the disc, when we could just keep updating the one game and make you pay $30 at a time for 5 characters a pop?
Uh-huh. And not address the root issues like your netcode or super dashes being fucked or the game being too rushdown, lockdown heavy. Nope.
Do you know what the first rollback on console game was?
For fighting games, I'm pretty sure it was Killer Instinct, actually.
That makes sense. So it was something they were capable of doing on the console at the time.
Rollback by itself is essentially GGPO, which is something that was actually created by a Western developer, so... Yeah, the Japanese developers have been slow to implement that.
That's the only way to win, right, Tiger?
Yeah, that sounds... Well, you know, Japan's stuck in their ancient traditional ways.
Yeah.
The only way to do something right is the way we've been doing it for the past 75 million years.
Literally that, yeah.
And if you want us to do literally anything different, we'll just die instead.
Namco is literally the worst about it too, because Arxis kind of saw the writing on the wall, especially when the pandemic hit. That's why there was a beta for an older Guilty Gear game with Double X Action Core, with having a rollback test for that, and people flocked to it because we were in literally the worst of the lockdown. Trump was still president, so there was no light at the end of the tunnel. So people are like, yeah, we gotta switch to something that's got better infrastructure for going coast to coast, because we're not going to locals any fucking time soon. Hell, even the Melee community exploded because of the creation of Slippy, which added ranked matchmaking and unranked matchmaking with rollback into Melee. And honestly, that's kind of fucking sick. That one dude did all that.
Was that last year? I thought that was 2 years ago.
No, that was just... It was in development in 2019, but, like, the guy apparently, like, left his job and did that full time, and it came out.
Boy, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, you have the savings, and you can do it. By all means, go for it, I guess. Might want to just open a Patreon at that point, though.
Nostalgia Critic inspired a generation of people to quit their jobs and just do YouTube. For good or for ill.
Saves you money on commutes, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, just hope you find a stable income.
Yep. If you build enough clouds on the internet, you can migrate it between platforms relatively smoothly if you're good about it.
His throat collapsing within my hand.
But that takes a lot of time, though.
Yeah.
I ask you humbly.
Platform to platform. Speaking of which, we're streaming 4 days a week on Twitch. Come check us out at twitch.com/RisingJericho.
You're beating me at my own game now.